Well, the rains have come. The thunder beings are bringing change. I need my socks on in the evenings, and I've ordered my logs for the winter. Hi, Sarah here. So the rains have come. We had some amazing thunder and lightning last night. It's all about change now. The nights, the evenings are definitely cooler. The mornings, the last couple of mornings, I've noticed I can see my breath first thing in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's chill. But it's still, it's still really warm in the day. But you can feel the change in the air. As I said, I need my socks on in the evenings, or in my boots. And in Lakota traditions, they call this change is brought in by the thunder beings, and although they are associated primarily with the spring rains. Oops, sorry, I'm not doing very well with my camera here. Trying to keep it on my head. The thunder beings are associated with the spring rains, bringing in change and new growth. They're also associated with the autumn rains, which can bring in great tempests, great storms. And obviously in parts of the world you get hurricanes at this time of year, cyclones, tornadoes, whatever, wherever you are in the world, they have different names. And yesterday we saw the horrific avalanche of water that hit a number of towns in Nepal. That there was I believe a 5.7 landslide. 5.7 on the is it on the Richter scale? I don't know. The same measurements as they measure earthquakes, but it was a landslide and not an earthquake. And this landslide just careered its way down the mountain, taking huge bodies of water with it down the valley. And judging by the footage captured on people's phones and what have you, it did an enormous amount of damage. And I'm sure there's lots of people saying climate change is responsible for that, I believe that the earth is constantly in flux, it's constantly in change, and it's constantly expanding and contracting. So bodies of mountains and things are always on the move, and glaciers, as in this case, I think it was on the edge of a glacier up in the Himalayas, are constantly being cracked and moved around. And okay, they might be melting at some point and then everything gives, but I do think this is just, from my perspective, a huge reckoning of Grandmother Earth, just giving herself a little bit of a shake to try and dislodge some low vibrational stuff that's been hanging on to her. But anyway, this is time of change. This is autumn in the making, and we're not even at the end of August yet, and already you can see there are brown leaves, and the berries are early this year, the blackberries particularly. The damsons are nearly ripe, which is very early, normally not ripe until September. And just generally, nature is kind of moved on a little bit faster than it normally is at this time of year. So how does that equate to our lives? Well, we have the eclipse. We're right in the middle of the eclipse season, or at least gone through most of it. And tomorrow, the 28th, is the eclipse of the full moon, which happens a little more often than a solar eclipse, I believe. But this is marking the end of that eclipse period. So the moon is always associated with our emotions, our feelings, you know, the feminine energy. And so this is the time to say, okay, well, I'm letting all that stuff go. And I don't know about you, but I found it quite challenging the last couple of weeks since the first eclipse. I have been feeling really sorrowful. Sometimes I know what it's about, sometimes I have simply no idea, and it just comes upon me and takes me by surprise sometimes, you know, that the tears just flow. And I do believe that's just releasing some tension perhaps, or some sorrow that I've been holding on to for a long time. Just recognizing that, you know, I don't want to take this stuff forward. I know, you know, it might reappear in the future, but it's a good time to just allow that to flow if it's coming up for release, really. And my nose has been pretty runny as well, which is another sign of releasing stuck energy. So how have you guys been faring? Have you noticed any changes over the last few weeks? As I understand it, this is the kind of last major astrological significant, if you like, this year, and that we are now moving into a more calm period. Although I did hear somebody say that October and November there may be some big disclosure, and I use that word loosely because I don't necessarily mean it's an alien disclosure, but a disclosure about something that has been hidden for a long time, and that this was written in the Mayan calendar, it was written in the I Ching, I believe. So I guess we've got that to look forward to. I mean, I know, you know, the UK government's been banging on about people going out and stocking up their store cupboards with tins of something, and I suspect they're just lulling us into this idea that Russia or may retaliate for the UK sending more arms to Ukraine. And I kind of get that, you know, if you want to stop somebody bombing you, then stop the source of the bombs, you know. So, you know, anyway, we'll see what turns out from all of that. So as the planet Grandmother Earth prepares for change of seasons, so we start slowly moving our way around from the south direction on the medicine wheel, or year of the wheel, whichever tradition you follow. So, you know, it's basically the same the world over, whether it's a Celtic wheel of the year or a North American Indian wheel of the year or the South American wheel. They all have slight differences, but mostly it works on the same principle, is that we move around this cyclical time. And so we're moving into the west direction, slowly. And the west direction is associated with water, the element of water, and the great bodies of water throughout this planet. So in this beautiful gentle rain in Wales, so it runs into the brook that runs just down here, and into the River Severn, and down to Bristol into the sea, and that Atlantic Sea is then swept down through the Iberian Peninsula, down the side of Africa, and round the bottom, Antarctica, and up into Argentina and Central America, and up into North America, Canada, around to the Arctic Circle and back again. And so this beautiful gentle rain, which is landing on my face, is doing that massive journey. And it's also doing the journey through my body. So when I drink water, I obviously at some point pee it out and that ends up in the great system again, for it to be evaporated in the sea, up into the clouds, and down it comes again to land on me or for me to drink. And it's just a lovely cyclical motion of the huge expanse of water we have on this planet. So all the creatures that live in the seas and in the waters are associated with the west direction as well. So, the dolphins and the whales and all the swimmers in the sea, and all in the rivers and what have you. And also the four-legged, so animals like the black jaguar is associated with the west, which is a spirit animal, power animal that I associate with. The crows, the corvids, they represent magic in our lives. Badger, who's a great teacher, is associated with the west. Bear, who prepares us and teaches us about preparing for winter and hibernation. And then we have the ancestors, or our ancestors. Everybody's ancestors are associated in the west direction as well. And when the veil thins at Samhain, at the end of October, that's the time that we can connect with our ancestors the easiest, because the veil is very thin and they are very close to us at that point. So that's another aspect of the west direction. And the trees, the willow is associated with the west direction because it's a water tree, it likes to have its feet in the water. And so this is a time of harvest and preparing ourselves for the winter. It's a time when we can take stock of what's happened in the summer and gather in all the abundance of the summer and lay it down for the cold, hard winter that will come in a few months' time. So it's really a time of preparation for things to come. It's a time for preparation for death. It's a time for preparation for the older parts of our lives, if you like, my age group, they're sort of from adulthood into sort of old age. And so it's a really beautiful, well, all the directions have they're beautiful, but it's very close to my heart because I was born in October. So I feel very aligned with the energies of this time, or coming up to this time, I should say. And just, the colours, those autumn colours, those gold and rusty colours of the bracken. It's a point like the spring, really, of great change. So the rains are coming, the weather is getting colder, and we're preparing for this winter time, whereas in the spring, the ground is beginning to warm up, the air is beginning to warm, ready to start growing things. And so this west direction, is all about change and preparedness. So already the stream is beginning to fill up again, and not so easy to cross in sandals anymore. So it's saying, the waters are coming down from the hills. So there will more than likely be some big change coming for you in your personal life, whether you think it's, whether it's moving house or changing job or changing your way of thinking, or changing friends. There's likely to be some big change coming, especially now at the eclipse time. So I'd like to hear what your changes are. Do leave me a comment in the box below, and If you can give me a thumbs up, that'd be great, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I hope to see you soon. Ciao for now.